Good day and hello. I'm doing another video. This time it's more of a sit down, go through things video rather than like showing you what new things we've got. So the video today is about general maintenance of HPA RAN guns. So that could be either a rifle or a Hi-Capa or anything that runs on air rather than gas or electric or anything like that. So we're going to talk to you about what you need to look out for, what you need to do over time to make sure that your gun is working to its full potential, it's efficient, and you're not damaging things or making it so you're gonna have to replace things more frequently than what you need to do. So we'll probably start with a Hi-Capa. So Hi-Capas, most people still run them on mags, on gas mags. You can run them HPA. This is one of the Maximus kits from CTM. These have got taps in the bottom of the mag. So the way these work, you'll just hook your line up directly from your tank, straight up there. It replaces the gas with air instead. Other people can run an adapter on the bottom. Again, same sort of thing, just different. With this, with Hi-Capas especially, you need to look out for your nozzle on there. Make sure on the piston head that's seated inside the nozzle, that's O-ringed as well as lubed up, as well as the inside of the nozzle. That's mostly all you really need to do. And then obviously just general maintenance on the gun itself, cleaning the inner barrel, cleaning the hot rubber, checking the hot rubber, making sure it's got no tears, no rips, nothing like that. Because if you've got tears and rips in it, your FPS will probably jump about all over the place. Yeah, and just general maintenance of this. So obviously in your output valve, you will have O-rings as well that's in there. So every now and again, if you've got valve keys, get some valve keys, take them out and give the O-rings on there a bit of a lubing up. Do not use, however, with HPA silicone oil. You need to get a hold of some of this Tech T stuff, specially made for O-rings that's on HPA engines, really. Well, it's made for bikes and stuff like that, but due to the material of the grease, it's not going to cause any issues because silicone oil with high pressure does not mix very well together and it can go bang. So yes, that's what you didn't know. And then we'll go on to rifles. So not all rifles are going to look like this. This is a Moncoracle. Some of them, for instance, look like an Article 1. People that get new into CQB or even outdoors will get an Article 1. These are the lines coming out the bottom, and we'll tell you why these are really good as opposed to this, even though these are still good, but you just have to maintain them more. And then there's them. So these are great out of the box. You can just run them, shoot really well, and you very rarely have any issues with them. Single solenoid rather than dual solenoid because these are F2s. So these do require a bit more maintenance, looking after and setting up as opposed to these. Tank nearly went. So let's talk first about general maintenance on something, for instance, like this. Or this doesn't even necessarily mean for this. If you're running HPA, most likely you've got a reg on top of your tank. So this will bring the pressure down from your tank, which is from roughly, usually in typical terms, 3,000 PSI. You'll have a tank reg, which will bring it down to 800, 850-ish, 550, depending on which reg you get on top, or 450. And then you'll have this on top of the bottle reg, and this will bring it down from whatever output pressure your bottle reg has down to whatever you set it down to here. So with this Polestar one, I wouldn't recommend running it this high, but it goes from 220 to 0. Roughly, you want to be aiming about between 80 and 120, depending on the gun. Some guns can go up to like 140-ish, but that's where the limit is for most engines. I believe Wolverine engines, the limit is 140 PSI. So we're cleaning these 4 screws all the way around there. This is a Polestar one. Cat 5s, I believe, are very similar. The ballistic ones, oxygen regs, are slightly different, which involves you getting some clip, I forgot what they're called now. C-clip thingies, prongs to take out the bottom. But anyway, these 4 screws, and then you literally just take this bottom bit off. Remember how this goes together, because if you change anything on this, it isn't going to work. On the top part, which is everything that's left in there, you've got like a sealing valve on there. So you've got a big O-ring around there that you'll need to make sure is lubed up. Inside the bottom, you'll have a spring. And then, if I can get it out, which I probably can't. Oop, there you go. You've got another cup, which one dome side, which only fits one way into there. And that's your lot really. You can, which I can't get to in here because I need more tools. You've got a part at the bottom where you can get a pair of pliers and a screw off. That's got an O-ring, so you need to strip that down. Make sure the O-ring in there is all lubed up, again using Tech T. This part, that can go back in there. Main thing with this O-ring, you need to make sure that's lubed up. So you can just tap a little bit on your finger. A little bit goes a long way. Wipe it all the way around like that. And then that can seat back in there. That can go back in there. And you can reassemble it. When you're doing this, make sure you look out for moisture. Moisture is not good. You don't want any moisture in your eggs or anything that's HPA, because moisture and compressed air just does not mix well together. So you want to look out for moisture all the time. If something's wet in there, there's something not right, and we'll go into that a little later on. They're easy to strip down and maintain. Cat 5s, still easy, but a little bit different. You've got some shims in there, but make sure you remember the order of the shims. So always take them out in the order they want to go back in, because if you don't, your pressure will be up and down and wild. There is more O-rings on a Storm, so they are a little bit less friendly. So that's that. Engine, it's the same with the engine. That people are a bit scared of these, which I understand because they're expensive, but it's very, very important you keep this like tip top. This is the main thing that drives your guns. So you've got your solenoids at the back. For those that didn't know, your top one is your nozzle solenoid and the bottom one is your poppet. On there, I'll put it on that camera as well. On the solenoid itself, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 O-rings. Make sure they're clean, and that's for both of them. Make sure they're clean. The best thing to do is get a detailing brush from Amazon. Sounds wild. Get a detailing brush. If there's any dirt or debris in there, you can give it a quick wash, scrub down. Don't put it in water, obviously, although you can. But just give it a scrub down, and then again, Tech T on them. Do that on both of them. Be very careful with them, because if they go, they're not a cheap thing to replace. The engine, the front end, and this is the same for near enough every engine, to be fair, but this is just an F2. You will have, we'll do this properly. So you've got your front sleeve, which again has got an O-ring. You'll not be able to see it on the inside of there. It's a very small one. You'll need an O-ring pick to get it. That needs to be greased up, but there's a way you can do it without having to take that out. You've then got your nozzle. Again, another O-ring on there. So again, that'll need to be greased up. To grease that one in there, you're better off putting a little tiny bit of Tech T on this shaft part. And then you've got the main housing, really. You've got spring, and then this part pulls out. Be very careful. You've got a tiny little O-ring. I'll take this out so I can show you better. You've got a tiny little O-ring at the top. That locates with the one place up there, so this can only go in one way, really. You've got an O-ring there on the front. You've got an O-ring embedded in there. You've got an O-ring there. You've got an O-ring there. And then that didn't come out, but there's another bit in there. So yeah, you need to make sure this is totally clean. Check in there to make sure everything is clean. Again, we've seen it time and time again, moisture being in there, which is not what you want at all. Again, we'll get into that more. And you've got your poppet nozzle, and that's got 2 O-rings there. So, and then there's a load of videos online. No, it just popped out now. Load of videos online if you need to know how to build this back up, but once you get used to it, it's pretty simple, not gonna lie. You get used to it. So that's that maintained. That's your reg engine. So next we're going to talk about this beauty. This is the line that some people use, some people don't use. How it's supposed to be intended to used, that made no sense. But so in this, as well as Article 1s or Wolverine engines, these have these little fittings, which are Foster fittings. But inside this, if you ever get a light and shine it down, you don't even need a light. You can see there is a brass filter, and there's a filter system in there, and it's to stop dirt, anything like that coming out. As much moisture to stop that going into the engine, because again, we don't want moisture in engines. But they're really vital, and people that run guns with them on there will have less problems than what you do if you run it like that. Because guess what? There's no filter. So your tank is going directly, regardless of where you got your air filled up. That's another story. We'll go into that later on. Air goes in there, straight through there, straight to your engine. No filter whatsoever. So you're getting whatever air you're putting into your tank is coming out and going straight into that. Whereas these, we're getting rid of all that nasty stuff, and they'll just make it so you have to maintain your gun less. So if you've got a Wolverine or you run an F2 with a line, you'll probably have to do less maintenance, and that's just an absolute Brucey bonus. But for the guys that run speedy guns, and we know for a fact people don't maintain them enough because they might be getting caked in crap, you need to maintain them more because of that. So next thing, this is a GBB in a barrel, so it's obviously not going to go in there, but it doesn't matter whether it's an AEG or GBB. It's not even a GBB, it's an AEG. Oh no, silly bugger. I just looked at the hop cut on it. You need to make sure you're cleaning these literally after every game. These should be like glass inside. Like if you put them up to a light, it should be like looking through nothing. Most people don't do this, and it just gets neglected, and they'll end up having a load of issues. Whether it doesn't matter what BBs you're running, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm getting striking on it, and it's leaving stuff on the inside of my barrel." Yeah, because you're not cleaning that. So, if you imagine, say for instance, this is a 6.01. It's not very big. Your BBs are 5.95 with a tolerance of 2%, roughly say. So there's really fine tolerances on this. If you've got a little tiny bit of, say, dirt that's been pushed through your engine possibly, or it's just accumulated dirt in top, your BB is constantly going to hit that. If you're trying to force a BB that's almost the same diameter as an inner barrel, and there's something there, the BB is going to get knocked, so it's going to hit the side of your barrel. Your shots are going to go over the place, you're going to have inconsistencies, and each time your BB does that, it's leaving another mark on another part of the inner barrel. So then the BBs are going to be doing this, all the way down your inner barrel, leaving marks everywhere. So it's just going to get worse and worse over time. So what you need to do, good practice, cleaning rod. You get them in most guns, you can pick them up off Amazon for like £2. Get a bit of toilet roll. It literally has to be toilet roll. That is it. Cut it in half, rip it in half, and then cut it in half again. You want it like that. Isopropyl, oh my God. Rubbing alcohol, say it that way. A bit in there, get your tissue a bit moist. I wouldn't recommend doing it this way because I've just dunked it in the whole bottle, so it's very wet. Just empty some of that out onto a little lid or something, daft like that. Put that through your inner barrel. Twist as you're putting it through. Twist, twist, twist it. Push it through. Same again. Keep on doing it. The good thing about alcohol is it evaporates, so you usually don't have to dry it down that much, but we always recommend just running another part of dry tissue back down in it to collect any residue that's been left, any alcohol that's still in there, because even moisture in your barrel is the worst thing. Water retention and stuff like that. it'll just hold your BB where it shouldn't be. Again, twisting it as you do it. And it's like, oh, it was obviously like glass, but that's clean. That's what you want to do. Also, like I said, that needs to be, I would do that after every game because it's just good practice. Like, people will just neglect the guns. They'll use them, and it's like, it's the same with if you're going out in the woods. If you're going out in the woods, imagine the amount of dirt and stuff you're going to get in your inner barrel. If playing at speed field, the amount of BBs that go through that in a session, whether it's training or a competition, the amount of BBs is mad. And you also need to check your hot rubber. So hot rubbers, like I said before previously, if there's tears, rips, anything like fraying around where your engine nozzle seats in there, it's going to affect everything. So that's one thing you really need to check. Regs not having filters, we've covered that, which is mostly these sort of builds. Anything with this has got a filter involved in it. Let's go to tanks. So we've got carbon tank, doesn't matter whether you've got carbon, alley, steel, anything like that. Again, you'll see the filter on there a bit better. So this one has got a filter on this input, which is very good, but it still doesn't block everything. So every now and again, you want to crack off one of these. Well, there is a tool for it. That's HK sell one, and BZ have got them in stock as well, so you can get one of them. But you need to, what you need to do, we've seen it over time and time again, there's certain sites, I'm not going to name certain sites, they've got compressors. Fine, nothing wrong with a compressor, but the way this set up is wrong. And it's filling people's tanks with moisture. It could either be loads of water. Zach will know what I'm talking about. He had his unfortunate gun filled up with a compressor. It filled all his tank with water, which then obviously fed through his gun, ruined everything. So you need to be checking these out. If these go rusty inside, so you need to get them hydro tested. If these go rusty, especially if you've got steel core, these start going rusty inside, bin the tank, get rid. You need to just shine a light down there, make sure it's okay. Every now and again, I would literally get your tank and just leave it with no reg on top of it. Let it air out, make sure there's nothing in there, because we've seen it time and time again, people getting water in the tanks, any type of moisture, because obviously with compressors, a lot of them are water cooled. And they have to have specific filters on there to stop water from going through, whether they're set up correctly with the filter being above the water, etc., etc. We've seen it time and time again when they're not set up correctly. If you get filled off dive tanks, again, it can still happen. It depends how the dive tank's been filled up, where it's been filled up, etc., etc. It's just a wormhole. But the main important thing is you need to look after your own gear and maintain your own gear and make sure everything you're doing is going to increase the longevity of your equipment. So check your tank, clean it, check all this, make sure there's no water. I haven't got an engine to show you that's got like water in it that we've had in before. I'll try and see if I can find some pictures to put on the video, but you can see it's got water in there. Like there's water droplets, moisture, like it's like almost like condensation on the engine and on the inside of your reg. We've had it time and time again. It's a nightmare. Next, alignment. Again, everybody that's ever built a rifle or anything like that will know alignment is absolutely key. So that is where your inner barrel and your nozzle literally look like, I can't explain it, a circle within a circle. If it's that spot on, you're fine. That is key, because obviously when your nozzle's retracting, it retracts loads of BB, retracts, loads of BB, shoots, depending on what setup you've got, whether you've got dual solenoid or single solenoid, whether it's open bolt, closed bolt, whatever. You're just relying on the nozzle to load the BB. So obviously your mag's going to feed BBs up. They're going to sit underneath the nozzle while the nozzle's inside the hop unit. When you pull the trigger, your nozzle's going to go back, relying on the mag to feed up the next BB and load it back up. If that is not aligned properly, it's going to load into the hop differently than it should. And again, you'll have inconsistent shots. Your shots might go here, there, everywhere, because it's not sat correctly in the hot rubber. So that's really key. And the next thing is, especially on these, you need to sort out your mag as well. On an Oracle, you need to adjust where your hop unit's sat, because your mags need to go into there. So if it's all skew width, again, you'll get the same issue. You get meg cap syndrome, stuff like that. FCU settings is another big one. Take lots of time to get your FCU settings fine. People that use Polestar, I love all Polestar products, I just can't get on with their FCUs. Gorilla, on the other hand, Gorilla Mini FCUs are the best thing since sliced bread. You spend some time getting it dialed in on one gun, save the setting, and then if you've got any like F2s or anything like, as long as the inner barrels stay in the same length roughly, you can get away with the same settings. If it changes, you'll have to change some of the settings because of the volume, etc, etc. But you could just set them as presets, which is just mega, and they're all Bluetooth controlled, so you can do them off your phone, sit there in front of a chrono, getting it where you want it, blah, blah, blah. FCU settings set a massive, especially if you get in stuff on you. So if you're shooting your gun and you're getting like bits of, it looks like silly string flying out your gun, again, it could be down to your inner barrel being cleaned. Could be to do with moisture in the system, because most BBs are moisture controlled and they have have very little or to no moisture in them. So the only way they can really leave the marks on there is if there's moisture in the system, which is, again, you don't want anyway. So if you've got any moisture in there and it's being put on the BB, it'll make one side of the BB heavier, leading to inconsistent shots, banging off the inside of the barrel, all that sort of stuff, and you don't want to do it, really. You just don't want it. But FCU settings, if you've got your dwell set up incorrectly, your nozzle dwell, especially on F2, it will mess up your feeding massively, and you'll be catching BBs that are halfway up. So your nozzle dwell is the amount of time it takes to go back and forward. So if you've got that out of sync, say for instance, you could get double feeds, you could get one that's already fed in there, but another BB is halfway up into the hob, so then you're likely to get BB breaks. It'll put dints onto the BB, all that sort of stuff. So then your next shot's going to be going off wild anyway. So nozzle dwell is massively important. If you have an F2 or have something like this and you want your gun to be most consistent, get in touch with us. We'll sort you out if you want to buy a Gorilla Mini FCU, we'll literally pre-install the settings on there for a 155 inner barrel gun. And then you're good to go. It should work for pretty much everything, because we've tried our settings on a lot of guns, and they've been mega. I'm not saying like we've probably got the best settings, but we've dialed them in pretty well, like to the point where we just put them on now and we know it's going to work. So it's pretty dialed in. So yeah, that's it really. It's just maintenance. You just need to look after your stuff, and if you're getting things happen randomly, there's an issue with one of these things we're just talking about. So it could either be where you're getting your tank filled up. You need to be very like, these aren't cheap. A carbon tank is what best part of, with a reg, 250 quid. If you're getting that, it's like going to fill up your car with vegetable oil. You don't know where it's come from. You need to make sure that when your tank's being filled up, regardless of where it's been filled up from, that you check it after you've had the game day, because if there's moisture in there or anything like that, moisture is an absolute killer. Especially if you're using like outdoor stuff and you've got biodegradable BBs. Not great really, is it? That's how they degrade. But yeah, you need to be checking that, because obviously it all feeds into one thing. With the filtered line, it's less of a mishap, but again, moisture will still get through, debris won't, any dirt or anything like that, well, very little, unless it's really fine particles. These you need to maintain way more, because there's no filter going in from that to that, etc., like there would be if you had it directly on there, because it's got a filter on there, but moisture will still get through. But if you've got any issues with things like your BBs are inconsistent, it's one of the things we said, FCU settings, your alignment, the inner barrel could be caked up, and if it's caked up, it could be caked up because there's water in your system or some moisture in your system, or like I said, FCU settings are wrong, or your inner barrel's dirty, your hot rubber might be wrong. So make sure you're doing all this sort of stuff, so you make sure you get the most consistent, best rifle that you paid for, because at the end of the day, airsoft's not cheap. So you want to look after your stuff and make it last you as long as it bloody can, because why the hell not? that's it. If you have any questions, obviously you can comment on the YouTube channel or get in contact with on Instagram, because it will be going on there. But yes, look after your stuff, and if you want any more advice on stuff, reach out to us.